After the sudden death of Anime Adventures, Roblox developers have decided it's time to capitalize off that game's legacy and start making their own Roblox tower defense games. So today we'll be exploring their surprising and controversial explosion onto the Roblox platform. Exhibit A, the Anime Adventures effect. There have of course been anime tower defenses before Anime Adventures. For example, All-Star Tower Defense was the first Roblox tower defense game I personally was heavily addicted to. When Anime Adventures released in 2022, it was expected to be better than ASTD and learn from that game's mistakes, as the biggest issue with ASTD was that the meta would change literally every update, which led to the game becoming extremely tiring to even play. The main thing that made people love Anime Adventures was honestly the big step forward in graphics for the anime tower defense genre. At the time, tower defenses, sure, they looked fine, but it was obviously time for some improvements, and Anime Adventures brought that. The beautiful neon lobby that every game uses now, and of course the animations on the moves were also amazing. And it went good for about a year with the game receiving consistent updates, and sure, it wasn't perfect, but it quickly became arguably the best anime tower defense game of its time until December 2023, when a little company called GameFam came to shut the game down, and all the purchases made by players and the endless hours of grind was just gone in an instant. All for probably the worst My Hero Academia game to be released, which still to this day, I have no idea who thought this was actually a good idea. Exhibit B, the big three of modern Roblox tower defense games. After Anime Adventures sort of exploded in 2024, we saw 3 tower defenses released, and each had their upsides and downsides, but all were chasing after those lost Anime Adventures players all the same. The first game to really explode after the death of Anime Adventures was Anime Last Stand, which was released in February of this year, only a few months after the Anime Adventures incident. And to be honest, this game reminds me way more of ASTD than Anime Adventures, even down to the sort of outdated graphics and animations, but I digress. Anime Last Stand shot up in players immediately after its release and quickly became the most popular Roblox anime tower defense game. But unfortunately, a month after the game's release, the original owner Spot got into a bit of drama with him sorta trying to milk Akira Toriyama's death by adding an Akira Toriyama remembrance update.
We want to do a little bit of a mini special update to celebrate to the Dragon Ball creator.
Spot was also causing friction between the dev team by rushing developers and threatening to remove devs off the team for not reaching unrealistic deadlines. He was eventually fired from the team due to this. Then bro just started crashing out.
So if anybody wants the ALS files, shucks man, I don't care no more. I'll give them to you, I don't care.
This resulted in Anime Last Stand basically dying off for a bit during all this chaos. Then the game was eventually sold to the boss, who has actually been managing this game quite well, surprisingly, since his other games are just pure cash grabs. But I guess he didn't have to plug this game with too many game passes, since the premium payout probably is what creates massive revenue for this game. Because let's be honest, Anime Last Stand is very grindy. But the game was well and far ahead until the release of a little game called Anime Defenders. It was released at the start of summer in May of this year, and it would immediately rise to the top, averaging over 100,000 players. This game would also overtake Anime Last Stand as well, probably due to the fact that Anime Defenders has better graphics. The one thing that was different this time about Anime Defenders was that the characters were like rip-off versions of the actual characters they were trying to represent, probably due to the fear of copyright, which was smart, but really made me not want to play this game because the rip-off characters looked extremely generic. This game became more and more grindy and so pay to win that people even compared this game to the greediest game on Roblox, Pet Simulator, which is insane. Due to these insane levels of grinding, Anime Defenders players just figured it would be easier to set up multiple alt accounts that would also have macros to grind these units. This is where this game got its nickname Alt Defenders, because half of the player base aren't actual real players and are bots and or alt accounts grinding this game. You good? And if you aren't using an alt account, you are left with a severe disadvantage when it comes to getting anything good due to you having to spend 10 times more time than the average bot account player. I just outright quit because I felt as though the developers weren't really trying to make this game fun anymore and were just heavily farming premium payout, just like Preston, the developer of Pet Simulator. And also the exploiters who probably single-handedly caused the trade economy of this game to go downhill due to the gem inflation this game suffers from. Due to Anime Defenders making horrible decisions left and right, a game that had always maintained hype was lurking among the shadows. That game was Anime Vanguards, the game that was being touted as the spiritual successor to Anime Adventures, and is indeed probably the closest we've ever had to the original game. It is my personal favorite anime tower defense game currently besides ASTD. And according to this poll, it seems you guys agree with me as well. This could be a hot take, but it might end up being better than Anime Adventures if it can survive the inevitable copyright claim. Anime Vanguards, after a few delays and even a scam game that somehow tricked tricked players into thinking it was real, finally the game has released just about 2.5 weeks ago to massive success, now averaging over 200,000 players every day since. And the game immediately is hitting the nostalgia spot for so many players, including me. Even down to my luck in Anime Adventures is being replicated in Anime Vanguards, cause it's trash. The Neon lobby is extremely similar to AA, even down to the character models, which resemble the actual characters unlike Anime Defenders. What is that? I'll say the main appeal and difference of this game and why it is the most popular tower defense game on Roblox right now is probably due to the countless quality of life features and the easy access to gems that the game provides that other games just don't do, unfortunately. You have the collection NPC where you can summon different units and this nets you gems. Then you have the level milestones that give you rewards as you level up as well, which include gems and other things like stat rerolls and trait rerolls. The daily quests allow you to easily stack your gems by doing these simplest tasks. The enemy index rewards you with gems just by fighting the different enemies during the waves. One of the coolest things that this game has is the passive abilities. Basically, each character has these and it usually involves them getting their stats buffed after a few seconds, or you got Goku Black who just decides he wants to clear the entire map of anyone under 25% HP. This feature allows legendary units and even epic units such as Killua to actually become useful. This is in other games, but Anime Vanguards seemingly does this the best besides Anime World Tower Defense, another pretty good tower defense game. But not everything is rainbows and sunshines with this game either, since you also have units locked behind insane grinds like Icarus, which is a less than 1% chance to get and is locked behind probably hours of grind to receive.
What more do you want from me?
Then they had the nerve to nerf him in update 0.5, which was extremely unnecessary. But this is still somehow better than Anime Defenders since the levels themselves don't take you that long to get through. And update 0.5 added some Demon Slayer orientated units and it added raids to the game for some alright rewards, and of course Rengoku has to be unlocked through an intense tiny task session. Exhibit C, how Roblox Anime Tower Defense games are ruining Roblox. Now onto the big question, are these games that have released truly ruining Roblox? Starting with the game that started this whole wave, Anime Adventures. Although we look back at the game with rose-tinted glasses, was AA actually as good of a game as we thought, or are we just ignoring all those flaws because we just so happen to be in an endless loop of gambling for overpowered units and a subpar tower defense game? If we really break it down, that's really all AA was. It was just shinier and more appealing to look at. Because ASTD was the first game that made gambling for units in an anime tower defense game normalized. There wasn't any strategy, akin to even something like Anime World Tower Defense or even something like Tower Defense Simulator, arguably the best tower defense game on Roblox due to it not relying heavily on gacha elements to make the game playable, but instead allows for the player to choose units they want to unlock and is actually very free to play friendly. Not to mention, before Anime Adventures there wasn't a trait system, and once traits were added to the mix, another layer of gambling suddenly became available in order to make your units reach their max potential, which in my opinion, sorry Anime Tower Defense players, was always a scummy way to get people to spend more money. And as if trait rerolls weren't enough, you also have to get stat rerolls in games like Anime Vanguards because of course more gambling leads to more money. And of course trait and stat rerolls majority of the time being harder to obtain than gems. The problem also lies with the oversaturation of this market of games. In 2024 alone, 3 or maybe more Anime Tower Defense games were released within months of each other, leading to a very saturated market of games extremely fast. Each game, although may have different characters or maybe a cool unique feature or two, fundamentally all come down to the same thing. Gamble or obtain a really strong less than 1% unit, get that unit, level it up, evolve it through extremely grindy means, then rinse and repeat as updates are released. The only difference between these games is of course graphics and how easy or hard it is to go through this process of grinding, which is why people have crowned Anime Vanguards as the best, because it is the game right now that seems to care the most about the players who don't want to spend an arm and a leg and multiple missed showers just to play and have fun. That still doesn't mean that macroing isn't also involved in that process, since let's be real, these games become quite repetitive if you just have to sit there and play out the same level layouts over and over, which has led to tiny task downloads literally exploding. But this is why these games are on the front page, because each of these systems all contribute to engagement and revenue for the Roblox platform, which leads to these games dominating the front page. We've seen the same thing happen time and time again to Battlegrounds games and RNGs, where so many many of these games come out that it's not even exciting to play any of them anymore because the genre itself doesn't innovate enough, and it looks like the same thing is going to happen to anime tower defense games due to lack of creativity. But as I say in every video, if you guys enjoyed this video and you like some more content like this one, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.
Anything, but I know that it won't be tedious. More serious, I say take a breather and chill, enjoy.